Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of The Conversation with me, Jordan Brown. Today, we have our special guest, Kybra Minisee. She has over 2 decades of professional experience as a program developer, music instructor, and business owner. Kybra brings a unique blend of creativity and strategy to the table. Her educational background includes earning a Bachelor's of Science in Biochemistry from Oakwood University, as well as a Master's of Science degree from Alabama A&M University in Food Service and Technology. She is also certified as a Suzuki teacher through the National Suzuki Association of the Americas. As of fall 2020, she made the decision to focus her energy completely to expand the Crescendo Conservatory of the Arts that she co-founded with her brother, Keith Tutt II. She also fundraises for Love Notes Alliance, a 501c3 organization, which she founded to bridge the financial gap to make musical education more accessible for underrepresented communities. Also, as an accomplished violinist, some of her performance highlights include playing for Colin Powell, Judge Joe Brown, UNCF, and the California Association of Black Lawyers, as well as performing for many notable artists, including Israel Houghton, Switchfoot, and Solange, and many more. So I welcome Kybra to the show. I am so excited to talk with her. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you. All right. Welcome. Thank you, Miss Kybra. How are you doing today?
I am awesome. I'm awesome. I'm happy to be here.
Good. We're happy to have you. So I would really just like to start off with, this musical journey that you were on, and I would love to let our viewers know, like, how long have you been doing this work? What is this? What inspired you to start getting into teaching music?
Well, I began teaching because of the experience that I had as a child. I started playing violin when I was 3 years old, and I studied throughout high school. I actually went to college on a music scholarship. And even though I pursued the sciences for my degrees, music was always there. It always was fueling me. I was always participating in local orchestras or local ensembles, different events, concerts, church services, etc. And in college, I actually started teaching within the school systems part time. So, us starting Crescendo was, it culminated from my experience with music.
You started learning violin when you were 3 years old? Wow.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That is so cool. I played saxophone when I was in middle school, but I don't really play anymore. And I've played guitar here and there, but wow. Okay, so do you still play violin? I mean, I'm assuming that you do.
Yeah, no, I actually do. I mean, I'm primarily a teacher, and so I don't get to travel a lot, but my brother, he's a professional cellist, and he plays all over the world, and every now and then we get to link up and play together. So I think the last show that we did together was pre-COVID. Oh no, we actually did one a few weeks ago at the Vibiana, which is an event spot in LA with Rai X. He's a really cool, like, ethereal artist, I guess you could say. We recorded with him, and it's actually coming out this weekend. If you go to his social media, he's airing a Valentine special. But pre-COVID, I think our last show together was at Flogna, which is we were playing with Solange at the time. So yes, I still play.
God, you played with the Queen, with my mother Solange. I love that woman.
Yeah, I I do too. I love the whole family. They're so cool, and it's amazing to play with them, with her specifically because it's just a family feel, you know. A lot of artists, because I've played with other artists, and some artists, they definitely like kind of separate themselves from their musicians. It's like it's them, and then there's, their dancers, their musicians. But she's like so down to earth, and is in there the whole time with us as we're learning and as we're going over the show and stuff. She's really cool.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I actually went to a show that Solange did at the Getty Museum. I think it was like 2019 November, if I remember correctly. And I just remember
Okay.
being there with and seeing all of the dancers and all of the musicians she had, and just this like amazing work of art, this whole production, because there was the dancing, and then there was like a spatial configuration with like where she placed the musicians, and then there was also like films and just like a whole thing. So, oh man, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
she
Worked with her.
does really strong elements of art, incorporated with the music. That's why I love it. And I think I'm trying to think, was I at the Getty? I don't think I did the Getty, but I did like the Hollywood Bowl. My brother was um, at the Greek Theater. I mean, at the Getty. He was at the Getty, but I don't think I was.
That's so cool. So, you've been doing this for quite a while. This is, music. I'm assuming that this is a passion for you. How did you know to take this passion and make it something that you can take from inside what you love and then share that with other people?
I just think it was so necessary. I've always been involved with children, whether it's after school tutoring or mentoring, and I just realized that there's such um, a lot of times the kids and the children get overlooked, but we want to see so much change, in society, in our nation, in our world. But, it starts with parenting and it starts in the home, it starts with education. And one cool thing about the arts is that we kind of allow the kids to have that creative outlet that they wouldn't normally have. So we're like so important when it comes to mental health. And so I just love that aspect of it. A lot of times we're in after school programs because most schools don't incorporate music within their, day anymore. And so after school, it's a perfect time to um, do something, that's still, you're still learning, you're still working, you're actually working the whole other side of your brain. But there's so much of you can, you know, it's like a creative outlet. That's what I'm trying to say for the kids. And you get to talk to them about life, you get to instill so many principles, talk about discipline, and as well as show them foundations of music and the skills that can take them wherever they want them to go, wherever they want their skills to take them. So, yeah, it kind of just grew from my passion for the youth and children and giving them a seat at the table.
Yeah,
I hate to be cliche,
come on.
but no, for real, that whole tour really just inspired me to even take it up a level because a lot of times we're waiting for people to do things for us. And, while we still need to apply pressure to politicians and policymakers to do that, we can also create a seat at the table for our children by putting them in activities that are not the norm, put them in activities that will put them in places with groups of people that you wouldn't normally talk to or even be around. And that's what music has done for me specifically.
I love that. I'm thinking about how that kind of works in my own life. And funny enough, one thing that I used to do with my parents growing up, I grew up in between California and Dayton, Ohio, Heber Heights, Ohio. And we used to scrapbook all the time. That was like our thing. You imagine like this little girl who's just getting into the scrapbook and journaling and this whole thing. And now I've actually like started to put out an independent magazine. So I just finished my zine and I'm working on something like that. And so I didn't even realize like how long I've been kind of putting together those skills since I was in elementary school, and it's like, wow, now I've actually taken that and done something pretty concrete and real with it. And I know that your students are going to take these skills that they're learning in their classes and continue in developing in their musical skills, and then blossoming and doing so much more within that. I think that's awesome that you're really like creating this space for an outlet, because one thing I've noticed is, a lot of us are, especially Black women, are like don't have an outlet for the stress that our environments, our personal environments, local environments, home, school, the world, like we carry so much weight on us and we have to get that out somehow. And so it's like music is one really good way. On the way here, I was like, oh, I gotta listen to this certain song. I'm ready to jam, ready to get into the mood for my
Yeah.
interview, because for me, dancing is an outlet. Like every single morning, it's somebody's album, somebody's mix. I used to, I guess not used to, but I make my own DJ mixes. So sometimes I'll turn on my own mix, or I'll turn on like an NTS radio mix and just get up, and that's how I'll start my day, and just kind of release anything to make sure that, I'm in the right spirits, and I'm ready to go out for the day, and I'm ready to do what I need to do. So I that's really,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
the impact, the impact of music and just of movement, of exercise, dance, even your arts. I mean, the way that it impacts your brain on a um, a neurochemical level is amazing. And so my background, my degrees were actually in biochemistry and food science and engineering, and so music is so just essential. And I don't think people actually realize it's more than just a feeling. It actually alters your body, your physiological and psychological responses. So it's a pretty powerful medium.
Can you talk more about that? I would love to hear about, how music impacts you scientifically.
You know what? I don't want to just go off the cuff, but definitely when you talk about your neurotransmitters and the way that your body reacts to certain stimulus, your body reacts to the things that you smell, it reacts to things that you hear. And so those things they're very special. You want to guard your environment even when I don't want to go too deep, but when it comes to music and the frequencies and things, they alter your body and they can even cause it to be able to heal itself. Having your body at the right frequency, certain sounds. That's why people that are really ultra into healing therapies and they use the sound bowls or they use certain frequencies. I even
The
know
sound
my
bowls
brother,
in
he
my room
does.
right now. I've got like
Yeah,
three
my
gigantic crystal sound bowls that I use every once in a while. I actually did a training over the summer, and I worked with this sound bowl center out in LA, and they taught us, like the different frequencies and like what level of volume to use them at, so you don't actually like hurt people's eardrums, and how to make the sounds go so that they can really, be this healing therapeutic space for people. And also just cleansing, you can cleanse your house with sound. Like there's so many different things. I love that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And my brother actually does shows. I don't want to call it a show because it's not a show. Experiences. They'll bring him in to maybe a yoga spot or a place where people are just meditating or whatnot, and he'll do take them through an exercise, on his cello, playing different sounds, different frequencies. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool. Oh, someone is singing. Like, so I don't know if they're singing or if it's music, but people.
Oh no, you hear it?
No, it's not from you.
No, no, no. But it might be from my daughter down the hall. I'll text her.
Oh,
Is it in the building?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna text them that they are very loud.
They sound good. Okay, we'll just take a pause on our recording real quick so we can jump back.
Okay, can you?
Actually, a good place to stop and jump back. So,
So is this the interview or is this the pre-interview?
this is the interview.
Okay. Because it looks like you have about 6 minutes left. I paused it.
Okay.
Well, almost 7 minutes left.
Okay, they were like, oh, yikes. Okay, is it better?
Yeah. Okay. So I am curious about how the center, how Crescendo has changed through this past year. What is it like now?
Okay, well, this year just began, so I'm thinking you mean like 12 months back, maybe?
Yes, I mean
But
like in the span 2020, because we're still kind of in that similar space, dealing with COVID. How have things changed and transformed within Crescendo?
there's been a lot of changes. We are pretty much 80% virtual now. We still have a small group of children that come in, of course, practicing social distancing, wearing masks, and all of that. But most of our students are online, and so um, it's an amazing opportunity to be able to still offer them, classes. And in the beginning of the pandemic, we were actually able to switch over right away. I was working with another organization too, and I actually was instrumental in just getting them set up online, period, to be able to continue with, no snags. And so it was awesome because the kids, it's a lot for them to all of a sudden have their whole worlds flipped upside down. And a lot of times kids aren't, you know, we as adults are trying to figure out what in life to do, but the kids a lot of times didn't get an opportunity to express themselves, or it was just really traumatic for them. And so it was awesome to be able to just, still see them, bring them together, even though it was a virtual environment. They would get so excited because at that time, all of the schools hadn't even switched over virtually, back in March. So you had some kids that were continuing, with the regular school schedule per se, but at home. But then there was a lot of kids who were just disconnected. And so we were able to be just a connector and connect them to another family, another group of students, even though it wasn't their classmates. But, and then we were able to grow musically. So yes, switching to virtual was a big shift. Another shift that happened this year, which was planned, it just happened to, the timing just happened to work out the way it did, but we started offering club classes. So we have our conservatory, which houses the students that are taking private lessons, but we also have our club. And within our clubs, we're able to offer small 6-week segments of classes on various instruments like the ukulele, the guitar, voice. And we're able to just kind of expose the kids to the instrument and basic basic skill as a musician that you would use. And so that was a big thing because before we weren't doing those type of group classes. So it was a nice addition to our regular private lesson schedule.
I think that's really cool, especially being able to bring people together online. I feel like that's one of the hardest things to do right now is, we're all kind of in these solitary spaces and it's like, how do we bring us back together? Because we know we really miss that. We miss being social. We are social beings. And it's like, well, how do we do that within music? Because I've been thinking about, how do I continue to DJ when the spaces for me to do that are completely closed? And so people have kind of like revolutionized what it even means to DJ now. So people are doing things
Oh
online.
yeah.
Just kind of like live streaming parties and doing that whole thing, which I think is pretty cool. And so I love that they're able to, still take the lessons and be able to gain these valuable tools of learning how to be a musician and what that takes online. Because those are skills that once they learn them, they keep practicing, it's just going to get better and better. And we're going to just see all these little musicians blossom. I love that. I want more artists in the world. And I am just,
Yes, absolutely.
I'm so excited for them. I'm so excited for the future of Crescendo and everything that you're doing. I just think that this is such inspiring and important work. Seriously. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for just even highlighting us. It is our goal this year to add 100 more families to our Crescendo family. We want to expose 100 more families, and specifically to touch a string instrument. Okay, even though we teach other instruments, our focus and where we started was with our string instruments, meaning violin, cello, viola.
Okay.
Um, there's there aren't many of us that are playing those instruments, but it's something that really they're beautiful instruments, and we want to introduce them to our children. And so, yeah, we're trying to find ways to reach them, get creative on social media. As old as I am, I'm like, okay, I got to get with the reels and got to get on TikTok and, learn these different mediums so that we can extend our reach. And the beautiful part about it is that even though, the year just began, within the last several months, we've been able to expand nationally, due to the fact that we are online and even globally. So we've had people go to other countries and still be able to log on and join our class when we have it. I went out of the country for a while and was able to still connect with all of my students and teach them just as if I was here because of the virtual space that we're now in. So
That's such a beautiful thing.
really exciting.
Well, just to wrap things up, if you have any words of hope or words of encouragement for our viewers, I know they would appreciate that.
Yeah, well, while you are investing, it's really exciting to see us as African Americans or just blacks investing in stocks and investing in our education and investing in our health even now. But I also just want to remind us, like, let's invest in our children. Let's like really take time to spend with them every day. It makes a huge difference. And so the seed you plant with your children, the time you spend with your children today is going to be tremendous when it comes to building the future that we want to see, a future that's more equitable, a future where people are happier and are kinder and are thinking about their neighbor. All of that starts with the time that you spend with them. And specifically when it comes to instilling music in your children, Dr. Suzuki, who's a world renowned educator and started the Suzuki Association for musicians. It's the method that I teach primarily to our private students. But he had a philosophy that students that could play beautiful tones on their instrument, it's a reflection of the beauty in their heart, in their soul. And I really find that to be true. Music, if you can produce beautiful sounds and be sensitive to the just the moods that you're setting and the temperatures that you're creating, as you create your soundscapes, it translates in other ways. So spend time, invest in your children. They really are the future.
Thank you so much, Kybra. That was beautiful. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you. Oh, and you know what? One other thing that I want to mention is that we do have a nonprofit organization called Love Notes Alliance. And so our mission with Love Notes Alliance is to bridge the gap financially for those that may not be able to afford lessons. This pandemic, a lot of people lost jobs. Their lives are flipped upside down. And so through our nonprofit organization, of course, we're always soliciting donations, and we're able to be awarded 3 grants within the last year so that we could offer some of our programs at either free or very reduced rates. I mean, we were able to provide over 30 instruments for kids, free of charge. And we want to continue to do that work. So please, if you are hearing us and you want to connect with our mission, you can go to www.lovenotesalliance.org, and you can give your tax deductible donation there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting us know. That is incredible. Seriously. Thank you for your work. Thank you so much to our special guest, Kybra Minisee, for joining us today. I hope you all enjoyed the show here with me at home. Remember to stay safe and mask up. I want to encourage everyone to show your support for the great work that we do so that we can continue to bring more great content, because what we do for you. And we are all in this together. We can't do it without your support. So for more information on how to give, visit our website at blackvoicenews.com or click on one of the links in the description box below. It's the act that matters, not the amount. So donate today. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you real soon. Peace out.